Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. So, welcome to everybody to today's Monday Sikhi Kids class. So today we will have a special guest who will be Virji Brian Harris from America, and the Virji will be helping us all to learn how to make eggless pancakes. Before we do that, we'll have from a few brown kids YouTube channel. We have Kirpa Kaur and Joban Kaur, all the way from Derby, who will be sharing with us about Pai Kanhaiya Ji as well. And whilst making pancakes, we will be learning more about how Virji Brian Harris, who is an American, he's not a Punjabi, and he's been in the, I think, in the army and the armed forces in America. We find out more from him when we speak to him. So how did he get into Sikhi, and what things is he doing to learn more and more about Sikhi, which we can all be inspired from. So it should be really, really good session today. So it's come outside, the sun is shining today, so that's nice, it's quite warm today. So ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਜੋਬਨ ਕੌਰ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕੌਰ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਕਵਿਤਾ ਭਾਈ ਕਨ੍ਹਈਆ ਜੀ ਬਾਰੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸੁਣਾਉਣਾ ਆ, ਤਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਇੱਕ ਬੜੇ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਅਮਰੀਕਨ ਗੋਰੇ ਸਿੰਘ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਭਾਈ ਬ੍ਰਾਇਨ ਹੈਰਿਸ, ਬੜੇ ਸੋਹਣੇ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਤਿਆਰੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਛਕਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਅੱਜ ਐਗਲੈਸ ਪੈਨਕੇਕ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਡਿਆ, ਤੋਂ ਪੈਨਕੇਕ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਦੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਆ, ਵਿਧੀ ਦੱਸਣੀ ਤੇ ਰਲ ਮਿਲ ਕੇ ਬਣਾਉਣਾ. So for today's session, if you all make sure, those people who eat butter and they don't mind having milk, so then you can have milk, butter, sugar, all-purpose flour, baking powder and baking soda. So if you make sure you got those ingredients ready, those people who don't have dairy products, or you don't have milk, you don't have butter, if you make sure you've got self-raising flour, baking powder, sugar, and yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, those are the ones. So I've put it in the post, underneath the poster in the comment section is the ingredients I've written there in case anybody forgets. So if you just make sure you get all those ingredients together, make sure if you're a child watching that your mum and dad are involved and giving you permission and they're actually with you, because we don't want anybody hurting themselves whilst cooking. So first of all, we'll have Joban Kaur and Kirpa Kaur come on if they're ready. So is Joban, let me see how, let me just add them on. So if you Branco, okay, let's see if they can join us. If they can, there must be some easier way that people can just come on. Hanji, Bhai Satnam Singh ji, a few brown kids. Pardon? Oh, very good. Dhanwad Joban Kaur.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
You are very much shining today. Are you wearing some new clothes today?
Yes.
Oh, especially, this is how special today's show is. We've got even Kirpa Kaur Joban specially dressed up wearing their new clothes. Very nice. So what are you going to share with us today?
We're going to do a poem on Pai Kanhaiya Ji, and we're going to tell you a little bit about him and a Shabbat.
Oh, very good. Very good. Did you go to school today?
No.
Achha, theek hai ji. I thought some children did go to school, so I thought I'd ask you. Okay, Jen, so who's going to start then? You going to start together?
Yeah, with a poem.
Okay, then fire away.
Pai Kanhaiya Ji saw God in all. Friend or foe, he didn't seek to know. The battlefield was filled with blood and slaughter. He roamed around, reaching many, serving water. He saw each and every person had God's spirit. His heart was pure, and he saw no limit. He fed the enemy water until thirst was quenched. His devotion to God was truly entrenched.
Okay, is that the end of the poem?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you can tell us a bit about Pai Kanhaiya Ji now then.
Hanji.
Pai
Pai Kanhaiya Ji was a Sikh of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. So he On the battlefield, during a battle, he fed water to the Sikh soldiers and the Mughal soldiers.
Okay.
And the villagers were not happy about it and they told Guru Gobind Singh Ji. And Guruji said, these brave Sikhs are saying, you go and feed water to the enemy. Is this true? Bhai Ganaiya Ji replied, yes, my Guru. What they say is true. But I saw no Mughal or Sikh on the battlefield. I only saw human beings. And Guruji, they all have the same God spirit. Guruji Bhai Ganaiya. Guruji said, Bhai Ganaiya Ji, you are right. You have understood the true message of Gurbani.
Ooh, very good. Shabash. Very well said. So, Joban Kaurji, are you going to share something with us as well?
We both want to do a Shabbat.
Very nice. What Shabbat are you going to be sharing with us?
Gurupura Meri Rakh.
Very nice. Take it away.
Gurupura Meri Rakh. Gurupura Meri Rakh. Amrit naam hridai dino, Amrit naam hridai dino, Janam janam ki mail gaye, Janam janam ki mail gaye, Nivre doot dust berahi, Nivre doot dust berahi, Gurupure ka chupiya ja, Gurupure ka chupiya ja, Kaha करे कोई बिचारा प्रभ मेरे का प्रताप प्रताप सिमर 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 सुख पाया चरण कमर रख मन माही ताकि शरण पे ओ नानक दास जाते ऊपर को नाही Waheguru Ji ka khalsa,
Waheguru Ji ki fateh. I think you deserve a jayakara. Bole Sonehal. Very nice. You look very smart. You both spoke very smart and very nice, and some very nice comments, people. I think you'd be really, really good Sikhi teachers. You're good Sikhi teachers now, so when you get older as well, I think you can be going to other countries and you can be sharing and doing camps. I think you did amazing, brilliant. So well done. Okay. See you next time then. Bye, Khalsa. Bye, very nice. So, kinne bibbe bache. So these were Joban Kaur and Kirpa Kaur from Derby. So well done to their mum and dad as well, and to the dada and dadi ji, who really nicely trained them. बहुत प्यारे बच्चे, बहुत बीबे बच्चे आ, ता आशा के बच्चे बड़े होके भी प्रचार करेंगे. When they get older, they'll spread the message of Sikhi across the world with others with such loving way as they did today as well, and they do in the other sessions as well. So well done. So we've got Southern Sikh. So that's Brian Harris from America. I can't remember where VG is from. Is it Mississippi or Virginia? VG can remind us. So if Virji, Brian Virji, if you can just flag yourself up so we can add you, and then we'll share with all the children who are watching. Make sure if your children, if you are going to be helping to, so you're going to be making pancakes today. So if you get the same ingredients available and we cook together, that'd be good. So we won't. Any questions? हर किसी से will be for next week. ठीक है? सवाल जवाब अगले हफ्ते हो जाएंगे. आज we've got a special guest with Brian. We're going to be learning about pancakes, and he'll be sharing the story about Sikhi. So it's not just about pancakes, but we will also be learning about Sikhi as well. So let me see if I can. Oh, Southern, is that Virji? Southern. Oh, flag. Oh, that's it. Let me just see if I go live. Okay, he's flagged up. Using military language that nothing time. Hanji Waheguru Ji ka Khalsa. Waheguru Ji ki Fateh. I won't put my hands together, but if I did, I think the phone's going to drop. So you're looking very smart with your dastar. It looks like a brand new dastar, especially for today's Insta session you wore this, or is this the one you usually wear?
This is the one that I wear when I do wear the star.
Oh, very nice. It's a very nice royal blue. Very nice. So, Virji, today, if you could just quickly remind the families who are watching, the children or adults who are watching, what ingredients do we need today? So I'm going to just show you my ingredients whilst we're doing that as well.
So today, the ingredients is 2 cups of general purpose flour.
Okay.
Here,
I looked at the vegan version, and according to the vegan version, it's you can use self-raising. But if we use for some reason, because back to front, so that's going to be flour. So, but if anybody's doing the normal milk one, then you need what the flour which Brian said, which is going to be all-purpose flour. Oh gosh, you want to get measured out? I'm a bit behind now. Okay.
So you need 2 cups of general purpose flour or all-purpose flour.
Okay.
You need 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of baking soda.
Okay.
That's 1 teaspoon of salt.
Okay.
Because we're not going to use eggs in this, we use 6 tablespoons of melted butter instead of 4.
Okay, so you put more butter in it to compensate for the eggs.
Right. So the eggs are kind of like a binding agent more than anything else. So, and for me, I'm going to use buttermilk. So we use 3 cups of buttermilk. But if you're using regular milk, use 2.5 cups.
2.5 cups. Okay, cool. So is there anything else left, VG, for yours?
Oh, and then we've got 2 tablespoons of sugar.
Of sugar as well, and you just use your normal white sugar, yeah?
Yes, and it's not actually required. I just think it tastes better.
Oh, okay. So yeah, do pancakes, are they supposed to be sugary? I can't remember now because I haven't had pancakes for a long time.
Do what?
Are pancakes supposed to be sugary or are they supposed to be savory?
More sugary than savory.
Oh, okay. I especially bought maple syrup. Went to the shop.
Absolutely, and that's the only way to go.
I remember
Maple syrup is what goes on top after they're cooked.
Very good. Apparently it's organic. It was very expensive. But I thought, well, if you're gonna make pancakes, you must make them properly. So very good. For the vegan recipe, for those who do not have milk and butter for any reason, is how much flour are you using, Brian?
2 cups of flour.
Oh, I don't know how much this is. Basically, just 300 grams of self-raising flour. So, if you're using the vegan one, it's self-raising. 1 teaspoon baking powder. But for Brian's, you need also baking soda. Correct?
Yes.
Here is optional. I think that's just a flavor. It says 1 tablespoon of vanilla extra, but I don't like vanilla in a pancake, so I'm going to leave that one. Do you put vanilla in yours?
I have in the past, but not normally.
Okay. Probably, I don't think a standard Punjabi pancake would have vanilla in it for some reason. Then it says 400 milliliters of plant-based milk. So that can be, it could be oat milk, almond or soya. I'm going to be using organic soya milk. And then for optional afterwards, are you dressing it with something afterwards? Here it says banana slice or blueberries or maple syrup.
My favorite is strawberries, but I don't have any right now.
Okay.
So I'll just be using maple syrup.
Cool. That sounds very good.
But
right.
You can use blueberries, chocolate chips. You can use anything you like. Whipped cream if you do that kind of thing.
Very good then. Right. So first of all, I need to measure my stuff as well. So, but yours already done. So let me get the. So you got all your stuff ready whilst in the morning or something? Did you? What time is it there where you are?
It's 11:15 in the morning.
Okay, very good. And so you didn't go to work. You're retired, are you?
No, I retired from the military, but I still work for the military as a civil servant, as a civilian.
Okay, so you're on a day off today then?
No, I went into the office this morning, but most of us are working from home because of the COVID.
Okay, very good. And then you can do a bit saver and helping everybody to learn how to make pancakes. Whilst I'm just going to sort myself out and get all my ingredients and just measure them, perhaps I should have done that before, but I'll do that. Perhaps if you can share with the Sangha, the people who don't know you and meeting you for the first time. So this is Virji Brian Harris. And Virji, where do you live?
I live in Biloxi, Mississippi, which is right on the Gulf of Mexico.
Oh, I was right in Mississippi. Okay. Is it Virginia? Is that nearby?
No. We're about as far south as you can go in the United States, okay, if you're not in Florida.
Okay, very good. So, Brian, could you just, whilst I'm getting myself ready, would you mind sharing with the Sangha who are watching, its children are watching? It might be interesting. How come this American gentleman who sounds very American and looks very fair-skinned, and your mom and dad probably didn't wear the star or they weren't from India, so how did you come into Sikhi?
Well, about 6-7 years ago, I had what I call a crisis of faith. I was trying to figure out what I actually believed. And I knew what I believed, but I was raised in the Christian tradition. And what I believed didn't necessarily fall in line with the Christian tradition. So I called a friend of mine one day, and I was speaking to him because he was also like me, raised in the Christian tradition, but he had become a Buddhist. And explained to him what was happening with me, and he just kind of laughed at me, and he said, "Oh, this isn't a problem at all." He says, he told me, he said, go back into your life and find a group of people that were the kindest, nicest, gentlest people in the whole world, and if they all have something in common, look into what they have in common. So I worked in an emergency room in Washington, D.C. About 20 years ago, and all of our medical residents were Sikhs. And
they were patients or doctors, Brian?
They were doctors.
Oh, doctors.
They were all either doing their internal medicine or family practice residency.
Okay.
And they were always very kind, always pleasant, and never treated me unkind at all.
So what did you think? Did you know they were sick? They were Sikhs before. What was your first impression when you saw them? Or did you just think they're some people from India? They look a bit different.
My first impression, I didn't know that they were Sikh. I didn't know that faith at the time. Mm-hmm. I knew they wore the stars, and I knew they had a very specific way about them, but I didn't know about the faith. So 20 years later, I start digging around, and I found, look for as much as I possibly could. I found Nanak Nam, and I found basics of Sikhi, and anything I could find that I could read in English. And that's how my journey started. And then, you and I have talked about it before. The closest Gurdwara to me is 3 hours away from me.
Yes, you're very far from the nearest Punjabi Sikhs community,
yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, so last year I went to Toronto Singh's camp where I met you.
Yep.
And
which year was that in? Was that 2018?
19.
19, okay.
19. And all it did was it just spurred my faith on. Any question I had of whether I actually was a Sikh or not was answered there. And so I'm at the point now. I was supposed to take Amrit on the 26th of April, but
okay.
Because of COVID, it didn't happen.
Wow. Where were you going to go? Was that it was going to happen in your state, or you had to go to another state?
No, I was going to have to go to Houston, Texas to do it.
Okay.
That was about 6 hours drive from here. So, yeah. So that's the short part of the story.
Very good. I'm just going to I've measured my flour now, and I've got the milk already.
Okay.
So okay. So what if you work through the procedure? How are we supposed to go through it, Brian?
Okay. So basically, you got your flour, and you mix all of your dry ingredients in. So you just pour it all in.
Okay, so let me wash my hands. So remember, kids, make sure you're always washing your hands if you're touching anything which isn't unwashed. So okay, so I need probably a spoon or like a karchi, what you call karchi in English? Karchi. Karchi in English, which
Whisk.
This? Oh, I don't have a whisk. Yeah. I think it's got a cradle.
You can use the wood. You can use a wooden spoon or whatever you have handy. And then once I add them, all I do is kind of just mix all of those dry ingredients together.
Okay. So what? So the sugar. Sugar. Okay. I can't remember how much sugar I had with. How much sugar are you adding, Brian?
2 tablespoons.
Tablespoons. Okay. On my one it says one tablespoon. You adding 2. Okay.
Right.
Cool. So please follow as if which you're using the milk one. If you follow Brian's instructions, if you're not following the milk one and using the vegan one, if you can try to follow mine. Probably Brian's would be more tasty though. So this is a casado spoon, and I think that's going to be this in between a teaspoon and a tablespoon. So I think I put 1.5. Okay. And how much salt was it again from yours?
1 teaspoon of salt.
And I've got here. Oh gosh, there's not even salt's not even mentioned on this one. Okay, but I think it would be a good idea to put salt in, following Brian's advice. Brian, does it matter if you use pink salt? It has to be white salt.
Just white salt.
Okay. Okay, so I think the pink salt's going to be a bit too chunky. Chunky is the word. I don't know if that's a word, but is that? I don't know if that's too much. Is it? That's too much salt. How much, Brian? If you're looking here on my spoon, is that too much salt? Is it 1 teaspoon?
That's a little bit more than a teaspoon.
Oh, okay. Oh gosh, okay. We don't want to be we don't want to give anybody any health issues whilst eating this pancake. So yeah, I've done half a.
That's good. Yeah, that's excellent.
Okay, so I've got that. So that's the dry ingredient. Oh, let me look at the baking powder. So you've added baking powder and baking soda.
Right. So 2 teaspoons of baking soda and 1 teaspoon of baking powder.
Well, this is brand new from the shop. I've washed it, by the way, just to make sure in case somebody's sneezed or touched the noses, touched the cover of it. So we have to be very careful into its COVID world. Ooh. Okay, so I've taken the lid off. And just making sure I'm reading the instructions for the vegan one. So I'm doing the vegan one correctly. So for the vegan one, it says baking powder 1 tablespoon. And yours was how much?
1 teaspoon of baking powder.
Is that 1 tablespoon?
That's probably a little too much.
Because it's like a standard sarablo spoon, which is in between. It's not a tablespoon, nor is it a teaspoon. It's like a Punjabi-ish size spoon.
Okay. Yeah, that'll work.
Okay.
That's better.
Somebody's asked a question, Brian. Not saying that you have the answers to all of this, but are you? Do you know the difference between baking powder and baking soda, or is it a trick question?
Both of them are leavening agents, and that they help it rise so they get fluffy. But as far as do I know the difference between the two now? Okay.
Perhaps that could be somebody, they can do a quick Google search and get back to us. But yeah, so I think that's why the vegan one, it has self-raising flour to help it to rise more because we're not using milk. That's why. Could you please explain ingredients again as I've just joined? If you go under the ingredients, you go on the poster on Instagram. Who is that? Oh, why was that name? Mandeep. Mandeep G. Could you just go on Instagram on the poster and look at the ingredients there? Otherwise, if every single person coming on, we have to go for the ingredients. I don't go very far. But if you just go there, have a quick look, come back, and the vegan ones in the comment section. Okay, I'm with you now, Brian. So what am I going to do now? So I've got my. So this is the unprofessional version. Brian's in the professional version, so he's actually a whisk, which looks very good. Now I've just got a sarablo karchi. Yeah, so what we do, we're just mixing around?
Yeah, just mix it around so that your dry ingredients are all combined.
Okay. Pretty much mixed, yeah, okay.
All right, and then you add your wet ingredients. So we're going to add our milk.
Okay. So you remind us how much milk you're adding?
And then we add our melted butter.
Oh, do you know what? No butter was mentioned in this one, obviously because it's vegan. So perhaps that's why it's probably not going to be as probably tasty.
So the secret to a good pancake for me is that not over mix it. So
not over mixing. Okay, so is it okay? I'm just going to add the milk. So I'm using soy organic milk for those. Okay, so that's 300. So I'm going to add another 100. Yeah, yours looks quite lumpy, Brian. No offense.
No, lumpy is what you want.
Oh, okay.
That's the secret.
Okay.
Because if you over mix it, then they won't get as fluffy as you would like.
Okay, I think somebody. By the way, I've actually cleaned my phone with the antibacterial before anyone thinks, why am I touching the phone, to check the comments. So, let me just read that. So, somebody, Khalsa Food, baking soda is sodium bicarbonate, which requires an acid and a liquid to become activated and help baked goods rise. Conversely, I don't either Khalsa Food is very intellectual or this is a copy paste. Conversely, baking powder includes sodium bicarbonate as well as an acid. Okay, so some very big words there. Okay, right. Thank you very much, Khalsa Food, for that. Okay, so I'm now stirring. I'm a bit behind you, so I'm stirring this. Because have you made pakore, Brian?
Have you made it before? What's that?
Have you made pakore, onion bhajis? I think people call them.
No.
Oh, okay. Because when you're making pakore, you usually have the mixture looks very smooth, it's very without lumps. But as Brian said, it's supposed to be lumpy. So, but I'm assuming that no dry flour should be visible.
No, it shouldn't be visible. You may have some that are in the lumps themselves, but
generally
when they cook, it's going to steam through.
Okay. Okay, looks good. Should I put the gas on? Should I put the heat on for? So I'm using a tawa. What are you using to make this on? Obviously, you're a professional. You're like a pancake master, so obviously you're going to be on the higher end of facilities using.
I'm just using an electric griddle.
Okay.
And it's heated to 350 Fahrenheit, which I think is 175, 176 Celsius.
Oh, you have like a timer there. I'm not timer. You have like a temperature control.
Right here on the side.
Oh, I told you this is high. This is the high end of pancake making. I'm just using a very standard gas, and I'm using the same tawa which I use to make my rotiyan. So you can all see. Oh, can you see that? I hope you can see that. Can you? Oh, okay. So that's on. So that's getting warm. So that's
okay.
Very, very hot. So what should we be doing now then? Oh, do you cook oil?
No, it doesn't need oil.
Okay.
if you want, you could put a little oil down, but most of the surfaces are non-stick, and if they cook to the right temperature, then they shouldn't stick at all.
Okay. So in the past, I've tried making, it's called bisan de puri. It's like a savory, similar to pancakes, but Punjabi style. And mine's all just got mashed up when I put it onto the hot iron pan. It's just got literally just mashed, and I've lost the whole shape.
Yeah. So just put a little oil on the pan.
Okay.
And
for flipping them over, what are you using for flipping them over?
I'm using a spatula.
Do you want to just give us a... Oh, okay, that's very professional again. Let me see. The nearest thing I've got is a kurchana, which we use for prashad.
Yep, perfect. So then I like to use this little, I don't know, what is this? This is a 1/3 cup measuring cup, but it's just easy to get a good measurement on the batter. And then, and then I just put them on.
You were making them quite small. I thought like Americans make huge pancakes.
Well, if you go to a pancake house and you like to overeat, that's perfect.
Okay, so we're going more for the non-standard American size. We're going for more of the European size pancakes.
Right.
I would say Punjabi is probably like super size as well. So we're going for more of the European, healthier version size of pancakes. Okay. I'm thinking, what am I going to use to pour the pancake on there? Perhaps I can use a mini butter.
I mean, let's be honest. In the United States, they make them probably about, I don't know, 9 inches in diameter, and then they stack them like 7 high. And you know, if you want to know why we have, you know, this outrageous obesity rate in the U.S., pancakes would be one of them.
Wow. Oh, wow, you will do. So they're last looking good.
So basically what you want to see before you flip them is you want to see the edges get a little bit dry.
Okay.
And you'll start seeing some bubbles pop up on top of the batter.
So somebody keeps asking, can we speak Punjabi? Brian is not a Punjabi, he's American, and he can't understand Punjabi, so that's why we're speaking English. So yeah, if anybody would like to make a Punjabi video on how to make pancakes, then you're more than welcome to make one, but today we'll be speaking English so we can understand one another. Thank you. Right.
I am taking Gurmukhi lessons 3 days a week.
Oh, you take some free lessons. Very good. So you actually are learning Punjabi. Very good. Is that reading, writing, or is that for speaking as well?
Right now, it's just reading and writing.
Very good.
Because, you know, I'd like to be able to read my my gutka and stuff in Punjabi. But right now. So at this point, we just want to flip them, and you'll see they're brown on top.
That's quite dark. Is it supposed to look that dark?
That just happens to be a really hot spot on the griddle.
Okay. I've made a real small one to start with. Am I supposed to spread it out?
No, it should spread itself out.
Oh, let me see. It should spread itself.
When you flip them, you'll see them puff up. They'll rise.
I'm thinking, is the heat too much? Because I don't want to get burnt. Should I have low heat, high heat?
It's a medium, high medium heat is what you should be on.
Oh, brilliant!
Look at that.
Awesome. Wow. I wonder why it is that this is the first time that actually I made bisan de puri, which is made out of gram flour before, and then, like I said, it's just like a scrambled eggless egg. But this actually looks quite edible. Hope you
Hey,
said
but yeah, but yours did exactly what it was supposed to do. It got a bunch of rise in it, so it'll be fluffy and light.
Yeah, perhaps that's what the problem was. That it was because they put on baking powder and self-raising flour. So how do you make sure, Brian, that there's not kacha? What's kacha? It's not it's cooked inside as well. We don't want to have it uncooked inside.
So when you cook them on that first side, chances are they've cooked almost all the way through.
Okay.
So if you turn them, you can see they're kind of bouncy. You don't get any squish or anything like that.
Okay. I think, kids, if you're making this at home, just be careful the mixture doesn't go off the pan. Slightly add a small spillage, so your pancakes only get cooked if it's actually on the pan. It's not going to get cooked if it goes around the pan on the sides. So I'm like I said, I made a small spillage. Oh, yours already made. Oh wow. Okay. I'll probably give this to my dad to eat first. Because it always good as part of Sikhi, we always share our food, children who are listening. So we always make sure whoever's in the house or whoever's in the Sangha that they eat first and then we eat. So I don't know. Oh, Brian, look, it smells a bit burnt, I'll be honest with you.
Well, you can cook it a little less time.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
It's going to have that smell a little bit.
Yeah, before we have some right, I'm gonna make my next one now. If anybody's making these pancakes at home, if you can kindly, but make sure I don't burn my face there. If anybody is making, gas got to go. Thank you. Okay. Oh, I think it's a huge gas I'm having. If anybody's making these at home, if you kindly send the pictures of your pancakes to be made, you can post them. It'll be quite good. Right. As Parvajot Singh has said, I'm gonna make this go onto a different gas because I think that gas is too much. It's the biggest gas. Oh gosh, and that pancakes.
Yeah, if you over mix it and you make the batter real smooth, then it won't fluff up and they won't be as light. They'll be a lot more dense.
Ah, right. So to get the fluffiness, you have to make sure you don't overdo it. Okay. I'm doing one at a time because I'm a bit. I need to pay more attention. So otherwise, I think I might not give it might neglect it. How do we know when to toss them over, Brian?
When it's a little bit dry around the edges and you start to see those bubbles pop on the top, kind of like what you have now.
Okay.
You should be able to turn that right now.
Okay. Yeah, so that's a nice brown, which looks like you would actually want to eat that pancake. The other one, it looks a bit like a burnt toast, kind of.
Yeah, the ones I did this time, I did a little bit less time on them.
Yeah, I can see the difference between, yeah. Okay, very good. Okay. Oh, yeah, okay, that's looking good. Very good. So, tell us how we're supposed to. I just make these two, this one, and then we'll go on to how we're supposed to, what we're supposed to do with them afterwards.
Well, afterwards,
are we supposed to pat them down?
No, don't pat them down.
Whoops. Yeah, I said ignore that. Whoops. Okay. Yeah, I was treating it more like a roti and patting it down, but yeah, don't do that.
So you just take.
Okay, I think that's kind of done.
Two of them, put them on a plate.
Okay.
Hold on a second.
I think that's made. Okay, right. I'll switch off and then.
I was looking for my syrup.
Oh, okay. I've got my.
There we go. And I just got this no name brand syrup, maple syrup.
How much syrup? Obviously, we're trying to promote healthy living and children. Like, it's very good to look after your health. So, how much syrup are you recommending? Should it be covered the whole thing, or is it?
No, you don't need to cover the whole thing, but just enough so you have some syrup in every bite.
Oh, okay, so just make a little pattern or a smiley face, perhaps.
Yep.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna make a little smiley face.
So it looks like my daughter AJ is gonna get some pancakes for lunch.
Oh, very good. Oh, okay. By the way, just for those who are new to maple syrup, I was about to pour it without the lid. Actually, it has a lid for a purpose. I just realised that it would totally drown the pancake. So, and then it's got a little
yeah.
Otherwise it would have been wished away with the. So I've done a bit of a swirl. Brilliant. So, do Americans put butter on their pancake afterwards?
Oh yes, absolutely.
And you have ice cream with pancakes? And you have some sort of like, I remember at Singh's camp they were giving out something. Was that cream or?
No, it's whipped. Like sometimes they'll have them whipped cream.
Okay.
But most of the time it's just butter and maple syrup.
Okay, butter and maple syrup. Okay, very good. So everybody, that is pancakes. Look, that is a vegan version of pancakes, and you got Brian's, which is the vegetarian pancakes. So if I can make it, I think you can make it. But imagine if you're a child, if you're under 16, make sure you do ask your parents' permission and you make it with them, because you don't want to get hurt whilst making anything in the kitchen. So a disclaimer. Ghee pure. So somebody wants me to use butter ghee. I don't think butter ghee would go very well with pancakes. I think some people getting. I love lots of fruit on the side. Yeah, I do have some blueberries and some bananas. So I'll probably cut them and give it to my mum and dad to eat. And so you're going to be giving yours to your wife and your daughter.
Oh yeah.
Very
my
good.
favorite is strawberries on the side. So
very good.
Yes.
So Brian, we've got about just a few minutes left. And so if anybody's got, sometimes it's whipped butter too, which is more fluffy than the butter is normally. Oh, okay, that was Benji Sukkar, Jyotkor from Toronto. Thank you. And blueberries. Oh, everybody's getting excited now. Everybody's quickly typing and saying what they like. So like I said, if anybody has made any as we've been making them, please send in your pictures and we post them up and share them with the Sangat as well. So very good. So it's just about keeping positive during the lockdown. It sometimes does get a bit boring at home. For parents, if you include your children in these type of activities, whilst you do it similar, and you're talking about Sikhi, you can do some Gurbani part whilst you're cooking, and include them. It's a nice way to pass the time, as well as promoting healthy eating, cooking yourselves, not eating out, and just having family time and Sangat time. So Brian, before we go, as you're not from Punjab, you're not Punjabi speaking by birth, you're learning Gurbani. Some children who actually have parents or grandparents from India, they still think, you know what, because I'm born here, I can't read Gurbani, it's going to be really hard. What message would you like to give them? Because it must be even harder for you.
Yeah, it's not the easiest thing in the world, but it's worth it. You can read all the English translations that you'd like, but, we started doing an evening Raris session, and there's between 6 and 10 of us on every night.
On Zoom or somewhere?
Sir?
What do you use, Zoom?
Yeah, we use Zoom.
Okay.
And, when you read the English translation, but you get the explanation from the Gurmukhi, and you start to see that the translations don't really speak to exactly what the gurus are trying to say.
Mm.
And so
I'm going to move out of the kitchen because it's getting very hot. And so now then it's easier to talk to you. Oh, it's a bit more cooler here. So yes, you're saying about the translations. Oh, it's a bit more cooler here. The translations are not so making sense.
Well, they're just not complete. You know, they say something and they give the English translation is a basic explanation, but what is written in Gurbani and the way it is written does not translate to English very well.
Yep.
And so if you want to learn Gurbani, then I feel like you should put the effort in to learn the Gurmukhi. You know,
and is it impossible? If somebody said to you, Brian, "Oh, it's impossible," what would you say to that child?
I would say Sukhjot Kaur, who's on there, who's watching right now, who just talked to us about whipped butter, has done an amazing job of learning how to read Gurmukhi. And she did it in 18 months, I think, give or take.
Very good. Perhaps we could have an Instagram live with Benji Sukhjot Kaur as well, from Toronto, and share her experiences. Because sometimes we end up looking at more the bad examples and thinking, oh yeah, I won't be able to learn. But Brian and Sukhjot Benji are really positive examples how somebody who's totally not from Punjabi culture can very easily learn Gurmukhi and trying to read Gurbani part, and it's not that alien. It's very easy. It's not like I'm assuming it's not like learning Chinese. You've learned other languages, Brian, have you?
Yes, I've spoken German, and because I'm German by birth. Okay. And I used to know a whole lot of Spanish because of where I worked, which was a lot in Central and South America for a while. So I would say that because you have to learn a new alphabet or a non-Romanized structure, for me, that's been the most difficult, is actually learning the alphabet. But I'm starting to recognize the letters and how the vowels play in, and and the transliterations honestly don't even do the justice most of the time.
They're really bad. I mean, a transliteration, I read them. I really feel sorry for people who rely on them because they're so awful. So transliteration, for those who don't understand, is when the Gurbani is written in English letters, but the I don't know how people do it. It's just very difficult. There's some really ridiculous kind of spellings. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm just feel sorry for people who are using it.
So I'm going to tomorrow night, we're doing a Facebook Live on Southern Sikh with Sukhjot and Sukhjot Kaur and Mandeep Singh and Jaipal Singh. And I've instructed them not to tell me what we're going to talk about. I let them pick the subjects and the questions, and it should be a good time. So
you tell us again the time? That's tomorrow. What time?
It's going to be 7:30 Eastern time in the United States. So that's going to be 12:30 at night for UK.
Okay. So I think a lot of people hopefully might be asleep, especially if you're a young child watching. However, I'm sure the recording, you can still go back onto your Facebook and see the recording.
Yes, and I'm going to post the audio as a podcast. So
okay, how do we listen to your podcast?
I just started it, so it's on Podbean. It's Southern Sikh.
Okay, so you have to download an app with the podcast, and then it's from there you're on Southern Sikh. Okay.
If you go
and
to
you also, sorry.
No, just go to Podbean and type in Southern Sikh, and maybe one of these days people will listen, and it'll be awesome, and it's great. And I appreciate you having me on and letting me do my pancake thing.
No problem. Just before we go, do you want to just quickly share your website details as well, if anybody wants to know more about your story and your photos of you and your journey?
It's www.southernsikh.com.
Brilliant.
And it's got my blog. It's got my blog on there, and it kind of tells my story, and you can find me all over social media. Not that I play on it a whole lot, but you know, I'm out there and my email's out there. So if you want to send questions, send comments, you know, awesome.
Brilliant. After Singh's camp, Brian, where was your next Gurdwara experience? Have you had an opportunity to go to Gurdwara since Singh's camp? Because Singh's camp was your first experience of Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj.
Yeah. I went to the Gurdwara that's 3 hours north of me one time. I wouldn't say that it was the greatest experience in the world, but I had the Gurdwara basically all to myself.
Okay.
After Prakash, so I sat and did some Simran and things like that. Jaz Paul told me it was okay because nobody there was really talking to me. And then I've been back to Toronto to do a class for Khalsa Aid in Toronto, and spent some time at the Gurdwara there at Malton. So
was that a more better experience in Malton?
Oh, it was awesome. I loved it. I loved it. So, yeah. So hopefully we can have Singh's camp this year at some point, and we'll get to hang out again, and I'll get to learn more and everything. So,
thank you very much, Brian, and good wishes to your family. And hopefully meet you soon, whether virtually or in person. So thank you very much, and thanks for teaching me how to make pancakes. So thank you very much for that. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. So that was Brian Harris, an American who's embraced Sikhi. Met him at Singh's camp last year at the camp. Very lovely Virji, and his family, very supportive, very lovely as well. So thank you very much to Brian for joining us today, and all the Sangat who watched today. So time's up now. I'll try to save this video and save it to the, what you call it, story, and also post onto YouTube as well. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Next, just to remember, next week's Monday Sikhi Kids class will be Amanjot Singh Virji, and he'll be making banana bread with us. So make sure. So miss that. That'll be the week. Is it the week after or next week, Amanjot Singh? Banana bread, bank holiday Monday, whenever that is, we're making banana bread. So please be ready with your bananas. Okay, see. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.